Welcome, everybody. Hey, it is Wednesday night, 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. You know what that means. It's our Wellness Wednesday workshop. I hope you guys are having a blessed day wherever in the world you guys are. I'm Dr. Eric Deputy, functional medicine practitioner, and I'm excited to be with you today to go over a very, which shouldn't be, but is a controversial conversation. How many of you remember COVID? How many of you remember the craziness that happened during that time? But how many of you remember, and still to this day, maybe know people or yourself are suffering from something known as long hauler syndrome? Listen, I've been asked multiple times to do a conversation and a discussion about this. So I'm going to show you how we in our functional medicine practices help people find the root cause of their problems and help them sort through long hauler syndrome. But before we do that, I want to get into kind of some details about long haulers. I want to talk about it. But if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have anything to talk about, type it in the chat below, wherever you're watching in the world, whether you're on social media or if you're on our website watching live at biolimitless.com/live. It's so great to see all of you all over the world. Let me know where you're watching from. Give me a thumbs up if you guys can see me and hear me. So let's talk a little bit about the history of long haulers, and then we're going to get into some of the symptoms, some of the causes, and then some of the modalities that are really beneficial to help people. And of course, we help with all these problems. And I want you to pay close attention to what I have to say, because there's a reason why we're seeing such an increase right now in autoimmune issues, in Epstein-Barr virus, and cytomegalovirus virus, in Bordella and Lyme's disease flare-ups. There's a reason why this is happening, and this long haulers, in my opinion, is at the root of it. Now, I will tell you that we've had thousands, literally thousands of patients that have been diagnosed with long hauler syndrome over the last almost 5 years now, and it's been very interesting to see how this has evolved. And I'll tell you that during 2020, I had multiple offices. I turned one of those offices into a diagnostic and a treatment center to try to understand what's really going on here, not just with SARS-CoV-2, but with long haulers and all the other sequela that goes with it. So let's talk about long haulers first of all. So long haulers is a post-acute sequela, which means after an acute infection, side effect, okay, of a virus called SARS-CoV-2. That's an infection, and it represents now as a chronic condition affecting like millions, like over 400 million people globally. This is a 2023 study. So literally just a couple years ago, there were 400 million people globally that were affected by long hauler syndrome. Now there's probably a tremendous amount more because of that. And if you look at the economic cost of this, the cost is crazy. In fact, it's right here that in a 2023, a study in JAMA, which is the Journal of American Medical Association, estimated that long COVID would be responsible for over $3.7 trillion in economic loss in the US alone because of disability, reduced workforce, reduced work participation, increased in healthcare cost utilization, and the long-term disability that's being affected by it. So what I want you to understand is that long COVID was here, it's still here, and so many people are dealing with it, and they don't know what to do and how to handle it. So let's talk a little bit about this. So long hauler syndrome really stems from unresolved immune responses and systemic dysfunction that's triggered by SARS-CoV-2. And multiple studies have shown that this persistent viral particle known as the spike protein is the cause of this, is the source of the symptoms of this. And there are many doctors, many scientists, and many, well, real scientists, not political scientists, that are saying that, hey, this spike protein is a big problem. It's acting kind of like an oncogenic virus, which means that once that virus gets in our body, it overtakes our immune system, kind of like human papillomavirus, kind of like HIV virus, kind of like hepatitis A, which can lead to all different types of cancers because it shuts down the immune system. That's what we're seeing happening right now. But there is hope, and there are things that can be done. And I'm going to share with you some of those today. So if you have questions about this or any questions at all, make sure you type it in the chat so that I can share those responses and answers with you guys tonight as well. So, okay, so here's what I want to get into. What I want to get into is the fact that this long hauler syndrome, it's more prevalent than you think. In fact, let me read off the symptoms of long haulers. Let me know if you or anyone you know has any of these symptoms. So, fatigue or brain fog, chest pain or palpitations, headaches or migraines, anxiety and or depression, muscle aches or joint pain, insomnia, sensitivity to light or sound, insomnia and disruption of your normal circadian rhythm, gastrointestinal issues like bloatiness, diarrhea, nauseousness, loss of taste or smell persisting for months. Now, if you've had any of those symptoms after you were affected with SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, or after you had a injection of COVID-19, which is a vaccine, then that's going to, if it's been that way longer than 3 months, then ladies and gentlemen, you're dealing with long hauler syndrome. And let me just tell you, over the past 4 years, we've literally seen tens of thousands of people between myself and the network of doctors that I communicate with globally, tens of thousands of individuals that are dealing with long haulers and long COVID. And it's not that hard to deal with. It's not that hard to fix if you understand it's a process, but you have to give your body time and grace and patience to heal, because this is a big one. So the most common individuals that have long haulers are individuals that have, number one, methylation issues from a genetic standpoint. Anyone who has genetic imbalances like MTHFR, MTRR, COMT, any of those genes that do not allow our body to take our, especially B vitamins, and convert those into usable energy called ATP through our mitochondria. Anyone who has that most likely is going to be affected with long haulers. In fact, it's very rare in my experience. The individuals that we've seen, those individuals globally all have some type of methylation issue. So if you haven't done so, you should have a genetic test done. There's a blood test you can do. It's you can do a one and done test to look at the MTHFR, but I like the DNA discovery test that we do. We measure over 800,000 genes. In fact, I'm sure you guys probably know there's been an identified 102 genes that are contributing to conditions like autism, conditions like insomnia, anxiety, depression. Knowing your gene sequence, your DNA is not your destiny, but it's a guideline, which tells you that if you have certain genetic imbalances, you should live a certain lifestyle, or else, right? Or else you're going to have some problems. And it's true with SARS-CoV-2 as well, with this long haulers. So if you have MTHFR problems or methylation issues, you need to pay close attention to this. And I'm going to share with you some things that you can do to help with that. So that's number one. Number two, individuals that have a high toxic burden. So folks that already have high levels of aluminum, cadmium, mercury, all of those, arsenic, things that we find every day in people's bodies, in their blood tests, their urine, etc. Those individuals have a higher risk. Anyone who has parasitic infections, which is like 80+% of the global population. Listen, if you have dogs, you have parasites. If you eat food, you probably have parasites. If you walk outside barefoot like I do, you probably have parasites. If you have children and they come inside, you probably have parasites. I mean, we coexist with parasitic infections. You're never going to get rid of 100% of the parasites in your body. But just like a lot of bad things, if they get too overdeveloped, that's going to lead to a lot of issues. So anyone who has that, by the way, there's lots of testing that can be done to check on that. You can do a CBC, look at the eosinophils, and if they're a 3 or above, there's an indication that there is parasitic activity. If it's 6 or above, it's for sure a parasite, and that needs to be dealt with. And doing a parasitic detox for 45 days to 90 days is really going to be the key to that. Other people who have any type of like Epstein-Barr or cytomegalovirus virus or Lyme's disease or any other type of what we call primitive pathogen is going to have issues with long haulers and many other problems as well. Folks that have mitochondrial dysfunction. So anyone who's got chronic fatigue, chronic pain syndrome, a lot of those chronic inflammatory issues, those people are going to have problems with this. Anyone who has gut microbiome imbalance. So, like 90 to 95% of the population has some level of dysbiosis, gut imbalances. Okay. But But I'm sorry, I'm reading some of your messages. By the way, if you guys have questions, type them in the chat below and I'll try to get to them later. But those individuals are going to have a higher risk of long haulers and other type of chronic issues if their gut bacteria is off. And then any type of metabolic issues, anyone who has insulin resistance, any type of diabetes, any type of high cholesterol or high blood pressure, folks that have hypoglycemia, folks that have adrenal issues, thyroid issues, those kinds of problems, you're a little bit more predisposed to having long haulers. And that's what the data shows. The reality of it is we should be working on getting you healthier as a whole, because we're not really treating long hauler syndrome. We're treating your body that's dysfunctional. And really what's going on in long haulers is there's abnormal genetic expression in some people. There's abnormal gut microbiome in some people. There's abnormal cellular signaling and or low mitochondrial output in some people. And there's cellular dysfunction in some people. Or you have a combination of all those. It could either be one or all or a combination of all of them. So that's what's really going on with long COVID. So what I want you to understand is that it's not difficult to treat, but you have to first understand what it is. You have to understand also what it's not. It's not a disease. It's not like you caught a bug and it won't go away. It's not like you jammed your thumb and now it's going to hurt for a couple of days, or you hurt your knee and you need a surgery. What this is it is a syndrome that your body's dealing with because of cellular dysfunction. I mean, remember, we know the number one cause of chronic illness, chronic illness is chronic cellular inflammation. Now, the number one cause of chronic cellular inflammation, according to the United States federal government, are environmental toxins. But I'm going to tell you, it's also a low gut microbiome. It's also deficiencies and toxicities and other things. So let's get into SARS-CoV-2. How do we look at it? How do we manage it in our practices? So I'm going to share this with you, because listen, if 400 million people are dealing with this, and it's costing like $3+ trillion, almost $4 trillion in the United States alone, since this has happened, people should be paying attention to this. Doctors should be paying attention to this. And most doctors are now starting to wake up to the fact that they don't have a solution for this. And if we want to get really serious about it, we have to look at a cellular, genetic, microbiome, and a detoxification standpoint. So let me show you something that we use. We teach a system in our practices. Right here we go. Perfect. This is the 7 directives of BioLimitless. This is how we look at, if a patient comes to me with long hauler syndrome, this is what we do. So number one, we look to reveal the problem. We test, we don't guess. And here are the main tests that we look at. Number one, we do a genetic test, because I want to know if they're methylating or not proper. Okay. I want to see their genetic sequence so that I know how they should eat, how they should sleep, how they should exercise, what types of supplementation is best for them because of their receptor sites, what types of problems they're genetically predisposed to, all that kind of stuff. So that's number one. That's number one. Okay. Number two, we do a blood test as well. And I do a wellness panel. It looks at all the vitamins, the minerals, the hormones. It looks also at your comprehensive metabolic, and it looks at a blood count as well. So I can look at your white blood cells, red blood cells, eosinophils, all those things, because based off of that, that's going to be an issue. We do a urine sample. We do a urine sample to measure the pH. pH is potential hydrogen. Hydrogen is the pH level is actually a chemical marker for the electrical signaling in the body. It measures the hydrogen output. Hydrogen, potential hydrogen can measure like voltage in the body. That pH should be between a 7 and an 8.5 in the urine, ideally. If it's below that, then we're acidic. And guys like Otto Weinberg won Nobel Prizes for telling us that, hey, if you have, listen to this, if you have low pH, you're going to have a higher risk of parasites, candida, sicknesses, infections, diseases. They're all going to manifest in those type of environment, where as an individual who doesn't have that, has an alkaline pH, that's just not, they have a less chance of having those problems. Additionally, we also do what we call the dark field test. We do a drop of blood under a microscope, and we look at the red blood cells. Are they sticking together in a rouleau pattern, which is a sign of chronic inflammation and disease? Are they all spread apart? Are they moving like they're supposed to? do we see spike proteins in the blood? Do we see any other, problems or toxins or other issues in there? And then on everyone, I look for heavy metals and microplastics. That's a really big deal. And then we do a scan of their brain called a heart rate variability test to measure sympathetic and parasympathetic activity. That's what I do. So we reveal the problem, number one. A lot of you guys can do a lot of these tests from home. You don't have to go to doctor's offices like mine, but a lot of you know if you have this or not. So the second thing we do is we reset the body. Every person that comes to see me that has long haulers, I always tell them, look, the first 45 days of our care together, we're going to be resetting your body. We're going to start intermittent fasting. We're going to put them on a ketogenic carnivore food plan because I want to get protein up. I want to get good fat in the diet. I want good, healthy, clean vegetables, and I want to minimize the fruit. And I want all gluten and all dairy out of the body. No gluten, no dairy, no added sugar for 45 days. Most people, we end up doing this for 90 days, but we start with 45. And then what else I do is I start them off on that 45 with our reset formula. There's a formula we have called cellular reset. I have them take 2 of those in the morning. So they'll either do one first thing in the morning and one before lunch, or they'll do 2 first thing because I want to get that metabolism going. I want to get autophagy going. I want to get the cells in the body to turn over. I want to get that cellular lifespan to speed up. I want that 120 days of cell function to start shifting and moving over. We got to get rid of those old crummy cells that aren't working. And then we got to get the good ones, new ones working better. So we do that 45-day reset. I also work on removing the toxins. Listen, everybody's got toxins. We're exposed to hundreds of thousands of toxins every day. Some people have more than others. I like to measure those because it gives me a starting point. Then I can start the treatment. Then I can retest when the treatment is finished or to check our progress. So I use, during that removal component, I use a formula called Detox Pro Plus. Now, during the first 45 days, we get a little aggressive with this. Instead of having them do the maintenance dose, which is normally 2 dropperfuls per day for adults, 1 dropper per day for children, I'll have them do 2 dropperfuls a day, morning, noon, and evening time. I really want to get those toxins moving in the body. So what else do we do for the removal? We teach our patients that they need to get their body moving. You can't remove the toxins unless you move the body. Let me say that again. You can't remove the toxins unless you're moving your body. So here's the deal. The deal is this, is that physical movement will help your body also get the physical lymphatics and the physical detoxifications out. Okay. So here's the deal. The deal is this, is that I like to recommend standing vibration. A lot of my patients will say, listen, this is a long-term investment for you. Go online, go to Amazon, go purchase a vibration plate. Get a vibration plate. They're like $200 or less, and start doing that 10 to 15 minutes a day, once to twice a day. That moves the lymphatic. That gets the brain to stimulate. It causes the muscles to contract and relax about between 30 and 50 cycles per second. That's a lot. We also teach them deep breathing exercises to get the lymph moving. We've got to remove those toxins. We also teach them to get in a sauna and sweat, or go outside. It's hot now where we live in North America. Go outside and move around and sweat. Get your body moving. Do some jumping jacks. Go buy a little rebounder, those little 3 foot in diameter rebounding trampolines. Jump on that 10 minutes a day. That's how we remove the clutter. Then what we do is simultaneously we're recharging that cellular mitochondria, the cellular battery. And we use a formula called Cell Signal formula for that. Cell Signal, I put them on 3 pills in the morning and 3 pills at noon. That's what I do for these folks. And it improves ATP production. It helps with methylation, because most people we find that have these issues are 100% having problems with methylation. So the Cell Signal formula helps that body do that. It pushes everything, because it's got all the methylated B vitamins. It's got a dipeptide in here that's good for the heart and cardiovascular and skeletal system. And we put a couple of amino acids in here to help the body deal with when the toxins come out, so you don't, quote unquote, over methylate, which is not really a real thing. It just means that your body's not detoxifying like it's supposed to. And then we put BHB in here, which is an exogenous ketone that shifts the body from a sugar burner to a fat burner. And this is so important. It's so important to get your body to shift from a sugar burner to a fat burner. Listen, that's how uh, your body starts to heal and repair itself. Ketones fix the brain, the organs, the cells, the mitochondria, the gut lining, all that. When we live off of sugar and carbohydrates, which we were taught wrong, our standard American food plan and the food pyramid is carbohydrate, carbohydrate, carbohydrate. It should really be proteins, fats, vegetables, fermented foods, and then a little bit of fruit and etc. So we recharge the body. Then we're working simultaneously to rebuild the gut microbiome. Look, Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said it great, the best himself he could. All disease begins in the gut. We know without a shadow of a doubt that this SARS-CoV-2 virus or the injections people have gotten, the vaccines people have gotten, can cause a diminishing effect on bifidobacteria, which is immune system, lactobacillus, Enterococcus bacteria. If these bacteria aren't present in our body, our cells can't work, our genes can't work, and we don't have an immune system. Like 80 to 90% of our immune system lives in our gut-associated lymphatic tissue. So we rebuild the gut microbiome with our master microbiotic formula. And then we also teach our patients to eat at least 1 or 2 servings a day of fermented foods to make sure that they're avoiding the foods that are destroying their gut bacteria. So foods that have a lot of fluoride in it, foods that have a lot of PFAS in it, foods that have a lot of plastic in it, foods that have a lot of toxins in it, things that have a lot of antibiotics in it, like, most of the meat that we have as well. So long story short, we got to rebuild all that stuff up. Then if there's neurological issues, which unfortunately in most cases we see we reboot the brain. We got to get that nervous system and that brain and gut connected. A lot of times, if the brain's not working, they're going to have brain fog, fatigue, balance issues, ringing in the ears, vertigo, all tinnitus is what that's known as. That's the deal. Okay. So if that's the case, we teach folks to use the Neuro Reboot formula. It's a peptide that we use that helps stimulate the brain. It stimulates BDNF. It helps rewire and refire brain activity. It helps get blood supply, circulation, refiring of the neurons back in the brain. And then we teach people to refuel their body, to eat for their genetic code, to eat for their body type, to eat for their chronotype. If you understand and learn those things, and it seems complicated, but it's not. It really is not. We are in the process of taking all of my assessments that we do and my functional medicine practices and put them on our BioLimitless website so that you can go through and find your chronotype, so that you can go through and find your body type, so that you can take that DNA genetic test and you can start finding out how to live your lifestyle based off of that. So it's really freaking awesome. And I'm just going to tell you that it's not difficult to do this, but you got to put in the work. This is the protocol that we use. And the reality is that healing takes time. It takes you a minimum of 120 days to break up a pattern and really about another 120 days to start a new one. So you're looking at 3 months to break up this pattern, 6 months to get a new one started. Once those cells are working after that 6-month period, now our tissues are starting to repair. And every 12 to 18 to sometimes 24 months, our body also is regenerating all of its tissues and organs. You get new brain tissue, new eye tissue, new skin tissue, new tissues in the organs and the body and the heart and the lungs and the liver. So you got to give your body time. And that's what most people don't do, is they don't give their body time. You got to give your body time and grace to heal. Healing is a process. I always tell folks that healing from things like long COVID and other chronic diseases, it's not like flipping a switch. I'm not surprised if you don't feel anything the next day or the next week or well, you should feel something within the first month. You should feel something within the first 2 weeks, because this is a powerful protocol and it will shift, but you cannot out supplement a crappy lifestyle. And it takes time to heal. It's like repairing a forest after there's been a forest fire. It takes time to build that foliage back up. And our patients, they just get better. They just get better. And then what happens is they become advocates and they start telling folks about what they can do. By the way, we do all kinds of other stuff in our practices. I'm a big fan of using PEMF therapy. I think that's an amazing way to biohack your body with long COVID. If you can handle it, and most long haulers cannot, but cold plunges are good. If you can't handle cold, get in the heat. Heat is really good. Extreme heat and extreme cold really kind of does, for the most part, the same thing in the body. It stimulates something called hormesis, which is our body changes based off of stress. If I want to go in the gym, if I want to make big muscles, I got to stretch and hurt those muscles and break them down a little bit to repair. The same thing's true with your body when it comes to long haulers and long COVID. So the process is not difficult. And by the way, to date, the FDA has not approved any existing treatments or any protocols or anything like that to treat long haulers, because long haulers is not a disease. And in the United States, diseases are treated with drugs and surgery only. If you treat a disease with anything other than a drug, even if you reverse it naturally, it's illegal. How crazy is that? But that's the world we live in, isn't it? Which is really wild. So we use our hierarchy of health approach. We use our THIS system, which I've shown you guys this before. It's the system that we look at to get to the root cause of the problem. So let me do this. I want to give you guys an opportunity now to ask questions. I see a lot of them there. By the way, I see all of you. I see you from Malaysia, Japan. I see folks from Mexico, all over the U.S., West Virginia. I see Virginia as well. Lots from Illinois, lots from Missouri, lots of people from Florida, Texas. We've got folks also from Las Vegas. We got folks from all over the world. So, all right, let's do this. Let's go through first question. Doug says, all right, great question. Doug says, hey, where can I order the DNA test? So here's what I want you to do. This is really simple. Now, BioLimitless is a phenomenal global organization, and I want to build it wide before I build it tall. There's a reason why you haven't seen us all over TV and radio and all the things that we've done in the past yet, because I want to build the community up. I want to build the leaders and influencers up proper. Doug, we have a tremendous amount of leaders, thousands of leaders all across the globe. These leaders are influencers for BioLimitless, and these leaders are like family, and they're sharing BioLimitless with everyone. And this is one of those by the people, of the people, for the people opportunities. And I want each one to teach one. So if you, Doug, if you heard about what we're doing with BioLimitless through one of those influencers, message them, call them, text them, send a postcard or a homing pigeon, whatever, ask them for a link. I give every influencer a link so that they can share those links with people across the globe. And then you can purchase from their link. If you don't have that, if you don't have a link, by the way, if you do have a link, you go in your back office and purchase these. They're ready to rock and roll now. The DNA kits and all the products are ready to go globally, ready to go for this. I'm seeing your comments. They're awesome. You guys are hilarious. If you don't have that, here's what you can do. What you can do is you can go to the website, wearebiolimitless.com. Wearebiolimitless.com. You can go there and you can become a customer. Once you become a customer at wearebiolimitless.com, somebody type that in for me. Wearebiolimitless.com. Then what happens is you're getting an email. An email confirms your order, all that stuff. Then it says, hey, would you like to upgrade to become an influencer? Then we'll give you that influencer code. Then you can go and put your info in. Now you can start sharing it. You can share it on social media. You can share it with your friends at work or church or school or whatever. That's how I want people to know and learn about BioLimitless. This fall and summer, you're going to see me all over some of the biggest podcasts and on some of the biggest stages all across the globe. But I want to make sure that we get a chance to grow this grassroots style first. So great question. Jess says, hey, Jess, Jesse says, do you have on a lab coat, or do you have one lab or several? Okay, great question. We have several. So I have some here in the US and I have some in Europe that we use as well. But we have labs all over the US. Let's see. Another question here. Okay. Teresa says, what can my dad take for his heart? He's 93. He'll be 93 soon. First of all, that's awesome. Teresa, you've got some longevity in your genes, so you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And if you have children, that they're learning how to take care of themselves as well. So heart health is important, right? So we want to be eating well. We want to be moving well. We want to be breathing well. We want to be sleeping well and thinking well. That's one of the best things you can do for your heart. Eating a ketogenic food plan, really great for the heart. Even at 93, having him be moving around. The more you move it, the better it is. Doing deep breathing exercises. But from a heart health standpoint, man, I'll just tell you right now, detoxifying the body is so huge. There's a recent study that just came out of Asia, and it showed that one of the number one leading causes of heart issues, top leading cause of heart issues, is heavy metal toxins and microplastics getting the cardiovascular tissue. We literally have a toxic heart that's causing it to fail. So I love that Detox Pro Plus formula. The Detox Pro Plus pulls out microplastics and heavy metals and has 80 bioavailable minerals in it. 80 of the 90 essential nutrients the human body needs, 80 of them are in this vial. And they're bioavailable, and they're also covered with fulvic acid, which makes them more easy to absorb. It literally can get in your cells, in your tissue. So that's number one. You know, another big thing, omega-3 fish oils, and good omega-3 fish oils. A clean omega-3 fish oil that has a EPA somewhere above a 500 would be really good. Extra virgin olive oil, amazing for the heart. Huge fan of good organic extra virgin olive oil. I'm also a big fan of good, healthy, organic, clean sea salts. I just posted on our social media page a list of good, healthy, clean salts. I'm no longer promoting Celtic gray salt and no longer promoting anything to do with Himalayan salt, because the latest research that came out shows there's a lot of heavy metals in those, and that's just not okay. Now, some other things you can do for heart health. Your heart and your gut are directly related. If you have inflammation in your gut, you're going to have inflammation systemically, and it's going to be a heart problem as well. So using a product like the Master Microbiotics formula, Teresa, that's really beneficial. The lactobacillus that's in here has shown a lot to help with cardiovascular health, as well as cholesterol and other cardiovascular functions. There's so many things that we can do to help. Vitamin D, there was a recent study that shows that if your vitamin D is not at an adequate level, you have a higher risk of cardiovascular blood flow and heart issues as well from that. So I would absolutely 100% look at his vitamin D or start him on a vitamin D supplement. But there's so many things to do. First of all, 93, at the age of 93, you can finally start saying you're an older person. You're not an old man yet, but you're an older person. So that's awesome. Miss Robbins says, I didn't get COVID. Thanks to you, Dr. Eric, been listening to you since 2020. Awesome. I love that, Robin. Thanks for the shout out. I appreciate that so much. More than you know. Let's see. Here's another question. Okay, great question. Leslie, great question. The answer is yes to this. Can someone who did not take a COVID shot have long haulers? Absolutely. It's all about that spike protein. So whether you got it from an infection or you got it from an injection, it's all about that spike protein. So the answer is yes. The treatment, as far as we're seeing it, is identical. There's no cookbook for this. There's a basic formula that we follow that about 80% of the people really respond well with. And that's what I showed you at the beginning of this conversation today. But that 20% is all making it personalized for that individual, right? And it's all based off of their lifestyle, their genetics, their pre-existing conditions. So many things play a role in it. That's why you should have your own functional medicine doctor, or you should be working with someone that should, or you should be involved in an organization, I would say like this, that's all about educating people. That's why I do these things, because it's all about educating folks. Doctor is Latin for teacher. I can help more people. I see 150, 200 patients a day. I can help more people when I get done seeing patients by doing videos and calls and Zooms and talks and webinars like this than I can with my own hands in my practice. So Leslie, the answer is yes, 100% yes. Jessica says, I was talking about parasites. She says, a lot of people are parasites. Don't get me started on that. I'm actually fighting off a couple people parasitic infections as we speak, but I do know the solution for that. And it's not any of the BioLimitless products. Let's see. Make sure you guys put your questions in here as well. Susan says, hey, have you worked with many patients with Lyme's? Yes, hundreds, probably thousands, but hundreds that we've diagnosed and have come to us with a diagnosis of Lyme. But I don't treat Lyme. I don't care about Lyme. I don't care about COVID. I don't care about heart disease. I don't care about cancer. I want to treat the underlying imbalances. What's going on with the cells, the mitochondria, the DNA, the genetic expression, the gut microbiome, and the brain. That's what I care about. Because if we focus on the physiology and improve physiology, physiology doesn't lie. That's why we test, we don't guess. The bodies get better and they change. Make sure if you guys have questions, you guys put them in the chat below so I can answer them as much as I can. Let's see. Okay, let's see. So Clorette says, I would love to receive my DNA kit. Okay, BioLimitless Las Vegas was a dream come true. I have many memories I will never forget. A healthy gut is a healthy gut is a happy gut. Those products are amazing. I'm so glad. Oh, you were able to get the free samples we sent you. Awesome. That's really good. And if you haven't gotten the DNA test kit, make sure you email our customer service team. It's customer. Let me double check and see, but I'm almost positive it's customer service at biolimitlessdirect.com. I'll put it in the chat below, but that's awesome. I'm so glad you had such great results with the free products that you got. I already answered, how do you get started? A lot of people are asking, how do you get started? You guys are awesome. How do you find leaders in your area? We'll help you find them. Okay. So here's what we do that's really different. So Diana, let's say that you're not an influencer or a leader already, and you go to wearebiolimitless.com, and that's how you become a customer. Everybody in my organization has to become a customer first. Then you can become an influencer. There's a lot of reasons for that. Number one, from a legal standpoint, I want it that way. Number two, I want you drinking the Kool-Aid before you sell the Kool-Aid, because I want you to experience this. I want it to be real and genuine. I don't want somebody selling Vitavita Vegemins. Here, take this vitamin. It's going to cure your problems. Things don't work that way. Okay. So we'll help you connect you with someone. If you come into that, it's almost like you go to wearebiolimitless.com, you're in this little group of all these little orphans, and then I'm just going to help you find a little home, somebody that can help you. We're just one big happy family. So customer care at biolimitlessdirect.com. Customer care at biolimitlessdirect.com. Thank you. I am so bad at remembering the customer service part. I can fix your long haulers, but I can't remember the customer service component. Let's see. Yeah. Question. Do we do virtual appointments? Yeah, we do virtual Zooms. My schedule is a little crazy, but we do, Trisha. We do virtuals. You guys can go to my website. It's Eric Naputi. It's ericnaputi.com. That's ericnaputi.com. ERICNEPUT.com. You can go check all that stuff out there. Okay. Listen, here's another one. So Jessa says, I use pink salt that is lab tested. Then you're fine. That's the kicker. There's gray salt and pink salt that, as long as it's lab tested, that shows that there's no heavy metals, plastics, whatever, go for it. I'm just telling you, commercially, there was a Mama Vision test, a study that was just done, and that test showed that a lot of these pink Himalayan salts and Celtic gray salts have a lot of heavy metals in them. So we're recommending other lots of other salts as well. It'll be on our social medias as well. Let's see. Susan says, raw chia provides high levels of omega-3, and the seed does not turn rancid like flax, which also presents other problems. So I think you were talking about the heart health. Yeah, we use chia seeds, blend them up. They're not easy to digest, but it's a good source of omega-3s. There's an omega-3 that I can't wait to introduce you guys to. It truly is the purest form of omega-3. It really helps the body balance these omega-3 to omega-6 ratios, which is a major driver of cellular inflammation, which is a major driver of all chronic disease, without question. And we've been beta testing and using this technology to measure the omega-6 and omega-3 ratio, 6-3. It should be like a 3-to-1 ratio, 3/6 to every 1/3. In the US, it's like 28-to-1. No wonder we have so much chronic inflammation and autoimmune diseases and metabolic disorders and all the things. We get that closer to a 3-to-1 or a 1-to-1 ratio, and we found a formula that does that. We found a formula that does this. And the results that we're finding are amazing, and we're tweaking it a little, and hopefully I'll be able to make that announcement soon. So let's see. I thank you for this compliment, young lady. 80% is hopeful. So many people are looking for this. You're right. Following this protocol, what I just laid out, It's what we do. Every single long hauler patient, to be honest with you, almost every single autoimmune patient gets a similar type protocol. And then that 20% is what we tweak with them. So I'm just telling you, 80% across the board, if you throw this at them and give their body at least 3 months, knowing that ideally it's going to take probably closer to 6, you should see a big, 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 big deal. Okay. Okay. Another great question. Okay, George, can we use nicotine patches with BioLimus products? Yes. Okay, so why is nicotine such an interesting conversation? By the way, so weird. Isn't it weird that during a respiratory pandemic that people who did one of the best groups out there were smokers? Like, that's weird. Remember they told you that smoking is going to cause you to die from this respiratory deal? Turns out nicotine actually is a deterrent for the spike protein. So this little spike protein, just pretend my fist is a spike protein and my hand is a receptor site. What has to happen is this little spike protein goes in this receptor site, gets inside the cell, multiplies, comes back out, and rinses and repeats. It just keeps doing it. Well, there's receptors like ACE2 receptors and nicotinamide receptors where that enters through. Well, if we can already have that ACE2 receptor or nicotinamide receptor filled with something that receptor has a higher affinity for, like minerals that are in the Detox Pro Plus, like nicotine that blocks the nicotinamide receptor. Now, I'm a functional medicine wellness doctor. I'm not going to tell you to go smoke cigarettes, chew tobacco, any of that stuff. But I will tell you, I'm getting ready to get on an airplane tomorrow. I'll have a 7 milligram nicotine patch on me because it reduces the risk of, in my opinion, in the opinion of most doctors, the risk of a lot of viral issues. So you can use that. Most people will take a 7 milligram and cut it in half. So they got like 3.5 milligrams. And they'll start with 3 or 4 milligrams of a patch, and they'll use that regularly to help with long hauler syndrome. They might do it for 35 to 45 days. And then some people might use that indefinitely or off and on use that. And of course, George, great question. Of course you can use that 100%. Vitamin D also gets inside that ACE2 receptor. It has an affinity for that. So that's a reason why getting your vitamin D levels up are super duper important. Okay, let's see. Okay, check this out. So great. Okay, Darren, here's what I'm going to tell you. So Darren says, are you going to make a superior parasite cleanse? Let me tell you what I do with my patients that come see me. And I just saw patients this morning, and I probably had about 15 of them that tested positive for parasitic issues. And this is the protocol I put every single one of them on to start with. Number 1, I put them on the Detox Pro Plus, 2 dropper folds 3 times a day. Why? Because this has anti-parasitic properties to it. When parasites ingest certain minerals, when they get Shilajit, when they get certain zeolites in their body, it's going to destroy the outside layer of that parasite. Okay. Now, you need to have binders as well, like activated charcoal that's in here. So when that parasite dies, those toxins inside of it don't cause problems inside your body systemically. Okay. So I do that. I put everybody on this formula, and I put everybody on the Master Microbiotics. This does very similar work to how the physiology and the pharmacokinetics of certain compounds that you're familiar with, like ivermectin, work. Ivermectin is a soil-based microorganism. It is a soil-based probiotic that was found in the ground next to Mount Fuji that has zeolite from volcanic ash in it. So ivermectin has bugs and zeolites in it, bacteria and zeolites in it. That's a good thing. And we also want to destroy the biofilm that happens with parasites, candida, etc. This does that. This 100% does that. Now, what else I do is I also tell them, depending upon that person, a certain food plan to follow. We're going to eat certain foods that are anti-parasitic. So we're going to have pumpkin seeds. We're going to have clove. We're going to have raw organic garlic. We're going to have cilantro. We're going to have we're going to juice some celery every morning. Depending upon the number, if the eosinophil is really, really high, we might start adding some wormwood or some other known detoxifiers. There's some roots and herbs and things that we have. But I'm going to tell you, Darren, Most of my patients, I put on 90 days of this protocol with the Detox Pro Plus, with the Master Microbiotics. If they're also seeing me physically, I'm probably going to give them IV chelation therapy as well. It seems to expedite the process. And minerals. So we have a really solid parasite detox formula with just this. I tell people to start with this first. And if they need help, we actually created a biolimitless parasite cleanse, a workbook that you actually can. We haven't released it yet to everyone. It'll be released soon, but it's following this protocol. And then it tells you foods to eat, foods to avoid, and how to live your lifestyle. And you really should do it for 3 months straight, because you should do it for a minimum of 2 lunar cycles. We always start with 45 days, knowing that we're probably going to end up with 2. So great question, Darren. So Christy says, what's good for rheumatoid arthritis? Had it for 35 years. Well, what's good is finding the cause of it. Now, that's an autoimmune issue, okay? Typically caused by gut bacterial imbalances. So you probably have gut dysbiosis, and you've got leaky gut, so your toxins are leaking in your bloodstream. So the first 2 things that I do is, number 1, remove the clutter. So let's get you on a detox protocol. Okay, let's get real serious for the next 90 days about detoxifying your body. Let's get your body on a reset at the same time. So you go to 45easy.com and do the 45 easy day reset. 7 simple steps over 45 days. Then at the same time, I want to rebuild your gut microbiome. So we're going to eat some fermented foods. We're going to avoid dairy though. No dairy, no soy, unless it's fermented soy, and no gluten. Totally out of your system. Okay. And then we're going to use the Master Microbiotics. And then I'm going to give you the cell signal formula. That cell signal is going to improve blood flow, circulation, lymphatic drainage. It's going to help your body deal with methylation issues, which is one of the biggest causes of autoimmune problems as well. MTHFR, leaky gut, boom, there's your autoimmune 1-2 combo. There's a lot of other things, Christy, that you can do, but a lot of it's going to come from food changes. And I bet you've probably tried elimination provocation food plans to find out what you're sensitive to. We can even do some food sensitivity testing, but to be honest with you, those are pretty fickle, and they can change pretty easy. This can tell you what you're sensitive to now, but you might have a change in that later. Okay. So just FYI. All right. Let's see. Hey, Doc, Dr. Chari's with us tonight. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Doc, love the Master Microbiotics. Okay. So it's already in there. It's already in there. It's in every single formula we're sending out right now. The BPC 157 is in there. There was, God bless a startup company. There was a lot that went out of BPC of the Master Microbiotics that has the BPC in it, and it didn't have that properly on the label. So we sent a message out to everybody letting them know that they've got that. So it's in there. And man, that BPC 157, that's a game changer for gut healing. That's why I used to have to use 4 or 5 different formulas to heal leaky gut. And it would take me 6 months or longer. Sometimes I could do it in 90 days. But that BPC 157, game changer. It's in there. I'm telling you, it's in there right now. No question about it. All right. Let's see. A couple more questions. Okay, hold on. I can't read that one publicly. Let's see. Hey, there's Sven. Sven says, hey, Dr. Eric, watching from Norway. When can we in Europe, Norway become customers and influencers? Okay. So, man, let me just tell you this. Sven, first of all, I love Norway. I love the Scandinavian world. You guys and gals in that region know more about omega-3s than anybody that I've ever met. and it's one of the reasons why longevity is higher in that region. Vitamin D and omega-3 fish oils are like a staple for every person that lives in that region of the world, and it should be. Here's what I'm going to tell you. There's a very good possibility I'm going to be making a big announcement in the next couple weeks that's going to allow all of you in Europe, especially in Norway, to become a massive influencer. There are ways that you can become customers now. Okay. With all the global tariffs and tradings and things that are happening, it's a very fickle situation that we're in, but I promise we're overcoming it very soon. It's become very expensive to send things to Europe. We have a whole process we've been working on now for about 6 months. We should be able to make some announcements hopefully very soon about this. We have a massive group of European leaders. I've got over 1,800 leaders in the European region that want to get going with what we're doing at BioLimitless, but they're handcuffed a little bit right now. So once a lot of this geopolitical stuff's done, there's an announcement I'm going to be able to make hopefully within the next week or two that's going to get you in. And by the way, I'm going to be in Norway hopefully within the next 3 to 4 months as well. So hopefully we can connect. That'd be great. All right, you guys, a couple more questions I'll answer. Hit them down at the bottom, okay? And any questions that you guys have, I'm happy to answer them as well. Perfect. Okay. Have I done any pep talks on women's hormones or after menopause? Yes. I'm doing in the next couple of weeks hormonal women's talk, and then the week after I'll do one guys for us. But let me just tell you what you're going to find about menopause. It's less about the hormones and more about getting the toxins out of the body. There's so many things we can do with peptides now. Listen, I've been prescribing bioidentical hormones now for almost 15 years longer. And I don't need to prescribe them as much anymore through the use of the peptides in the detox that we can do. Did you know that a lot of the symptoms that women have during menopause, when estrogen levels go crazy and testosterone can drop and progesterone can drop, a lot of those are heavy metal symptoms. In fact, there's a tremendous amount of research, and I'm seeing it anecdotally in my practice and have for almost 2 decades, that women, if they have elevated lead, cadmium, or arsenic, when they get over the age of 40 to 45, they're going to have a higher risk of menopause symptoms, hot flashes, achiness, sweats, all that. That's a big issue. So detoxifying the body is so important to do, and making sure that those women are mineralized. Man, minerals, not vitamins as much as it is minerals. So that's why I love that Detox Pro Plus. I mean, this stuff I can't keep on the shelves in my practice because, for lots of reasons, but all of our menopausal and perimenopausal women love this. But I'm going to get deeper into that. So you guys, great question. I know there's so many questions. I wish I could answer all of them, but I really wanted to spend some time today going over the protocol that we use in our actual physical medicine practice, where we see patients every day. Well, I don't see them on Saturday and Sundays, but I mean, I do, but not in person. We treat people every day. And this is the protocol we use for long haulers. I want you to understand, yes, long haulers is real. Yes, long haulers can be helped, but it's an individual basis. It's a case-by-case basis. And my experience is that about 80% of the people that we see, we put on that protocol that I showed you at the beginning of this conversation today. So I would encourage you to go back, rewatch this, listen, share this with your friends and family and loved ones. And again, you guys hear me say this all the time, but it's true. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. Wisdom is taking what you learn and putting it to place over the amount of time it takes to heal. You got to give your body time. If you're going to commit to something, minimum of 90 days. Really, it should be about 6 months. 6 months. It takes time to heal. Healing is a process, not an event. So guys, listen, I got to get going. I appreciate all of you more than you know. There's so many great things that are coming down the pipe. So many amazing things. I just got a sneak peek at the paper that's going to be released in September, October. It talks about autism spectrum disorder. People's minds are going to be blown on that. So I want to give you guys some heads up on what's going to be coming down with that, so that you can help yourself, and you can help others, and you can help set people free, because the truth will set us free. So guys, I got to get going. I got to jump on another call with a group of doctors on the other side of the globe here in about 3 to 4 minutes. So I appreciate you. I hope you guys learned something tonight. Give me a thumbs up if you guys learned something today. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share all the stuff we do with BioLimitless. And just remember that knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. So guys, until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Naputi. God bless you. God bless America. God bless all of you all across the world. Stay smart out there and protect your babies. I'll see y'all soon. Have an amazing, amazing day. Be well, everybody. Bye-bye.